Tell me a bit more about a player who's more suited to international football than they are to Premier League football.
We were just saying then, I mean,
is.
you said Jamie Redknapp, who was a fantastic player for England when he played. He really was ahead of his time in terms of the Premier League back then was very rigid. It was quite sort of, if you like, cut and thrust, direct. Sometimes would miss Jamie out. But in international football, Terry Venables, who was, I think, my best England coach, put Jamie Redknapp in there and would have had him in there a lot more if it hadn't been for injuries. I think Darren Anderson's another player, Nick Barmby, there might be a few others, just suited to international football, the way in which you can get on the ball. And I think Harry Winks is someone who could play international football for England and fit in there perfectly, because he really does that well. But like I say, the Premier League's got to do it in the Premier League. I thought he did brilliantly in the first half. Second half, it was a lot more challenging for him, and he obviously played a part in giving away the ball for the first goal just after half time that got Forest in front.
Well, what do you think in terms of that, in terms of how Harry Winks plays and how he needs to maybe adapt that to be more suitable, to be able to make his mark in a second half, which is tougher for him?
Well, listen, he was the best player on the pitch in the first half, and when you go down and he made a little bit of a mistake there for the second goal, and then it's difficult. I mean, what was sort of saying is he's got to be the best player in the second half as well. I mean, he was still one of the best sort of 4 or 5 players on the pitch there today. But I mean, that's the first time I've really had a real good look at Leicester or commentated on them really, and I think there was enough in that first half to think that they've still got a decent chance of staying in the division. If I'm being honest, I look at the other 2 promoted teams and think it might be tough for them, but there's definitely something there. Some of the attacking players, Buonanotte as well. You've got Jamie Vardy with goals there, so they've obviously just got to keep it tight at the other end. The goalkeeper, I mean, we looked at his stats before the game, and he's outstanding numbers. You see the save he made as well towards the end of the first half as well. So I don't think there's too much to get too down about at the moment. They're in a decent position, I think 14th. You want to try and stay there as long as you possibly can and keep that gap between themselves and the bottom 3.